Have you ever stopped to consider who truly commits evil? Is it those who question their own morality, who face their inner doubts and fears of betraying themselves? Or could it be something else entirely? What about those who believe without question that they are perfectly righteous? The modern-day Pharisees, the hypocrites who never dare to look inward honestly. Could their refusal to engage in sincere self-reflection be what allows true evil to spread? Think about the politicians we often see claiming to embody integrity. Behind their polished words and confident smiles, what lies beneath? Compulsive lying, corruption, censorship, and the relentless demonization of anyone who dares to disagree. Are these politicians aware of their own hypocrisy, or do they truly believe in the moral image they so carefully project? In this discussion, inspired by the work of psychiatrist Scott Peck, let's delve deeper into malignant narcissism, a dark force that distorts minds and corrupts modern politics. But what exactly is evil? Peck defines it as an internal or external force that seeks to destroy life or vitality. What does that mean for us? He explains further, evil is life written backwards. It is opposition to life itself. It refers specifically to unnecessary death, that which is not required for biological survival. Evil also includes that which kills the spirit. Pause for a moment. What does it mean to kill the spirit? Life has essential qualities: sensitivity, mobility, awareness, growth, autonomy, and will. Could evil be the attempt to destroy these, even without harming the body? We all carry the capacity for evil inside us. Alexander Solzhenitsyn once observed, "The line separating good and evil passes not through states, nor between political parties, but right through every human heart." If this is true, who among us is safe from falling into darkness? Two types of people are particularly prone to this: psychopaths and malignant narcissists. While psychopaths are widely recognized as dangerous, could malignant narcissists, far more numerous, be causing even more harm? Scott Peck writes in People of the Lie, "It is appropriate to classify evil people as a specific variant of narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissism involves a distorted self-perception, an inflated confidence and grandiose view of oneself that doesn't match reality." Have you noticed how some people seem obsessed with their own image, excessively focused on themselves, unable to truly empathize with others? Narcissism exists on a spectrum, from mild, like idealizing oneself on social media, to extreme. At the extreme lies malignant narcissism, a pathological devotion to a perfect self-image, a relentless need to appear morally flawless. But is there real goodness beneath the surface? No, just an illusion. That's why Peck calls them people of the lie. So what does it take to recognize this kind of evil? And how do we protect ourselves and our societies from those who wear a mask of virtue but hide something far darker underneath? Malignant narcissism is a psychological defense born from a deep fear of being seen as inferior or morally inadequate. Childhood trauma, being raised by critical or narcissistic parents, as well as factors tied to socialization and genetics, can all contribute to shaping this personality. For these individuals, admitting to errors or moral failings is impossible because it would directly threaten the illusion of perfection they rely on. Peck explains, where does this arrogant self-image of perfection come from? This particularly malignant type of narcissism. At its core, it is fear. Malignant narcissists live in a continuous state of dread at the idea of confronting their own evil. This terror is so deep, so ingrained, that it may go unnoticed. And even if they sensed it, their narcissism would prevent them from acknowledging it. When mentally healthy people commit a mistake or immoral act, they recognize it, feel guilt and remorse, and try to make amends, returning to a path of integrity. Most people have an active conscience that regulates their actions and keeps them within moral boundaries. However, the malignant narcissist suppresses their conscience through constant self-deception. Their identity is deeply rooted in a distorted view of moral superiority. When they commit ethical transgressions, they turn to justifications and defense mechanisms like rationalizations and fantasies, in order to maintain the illusion that they are always right, avoiding guilt and self-awareness. Because malignant narcissists deceive themselves constantly, they can lie and act harmfully, yet still believe they're doing good. Scott explains that what defines malignant narcissists is not so much their sins, but the subtlety and persistence with which they commit them. Their greatest fault isn't the sin itself, but their refusal to admit it. Unlike psychopaths, who lack moral sense, malignant narcissists are obsessed with hiding their wickedness from their own awareness. This refusal to confront their faults is the source of their evil. One of the core mechanisms of self-deception used by malignant narcissists, and which leads them to commit their worst acts, is scapegoating. As Peck notes, this happens through a psychological process called projection. The malignant narcissist, unable to deal with their own negative emotions or moral failings, projects these traits onto others, accusing them of behaviors that are actually reflections of their own flaws. A hallmark of malignant narcissist behavior is the need to create scapegoats. Feeling morally untouchable, they attack anyone who criticizes them. By denying their own faults, they see evil in others. They never consider themselves wicked. On the contrary, they see evil all around them. The practice of scapegoating is clearly observable in politics. Many politicians are so obsessed with maintaining an image of morality and correctness that they refuse to admit their policies or decisions may be contributing to society's problems. When confronted with their failures or challenged on their moral perfection, these politicians, marked by malignant narcissism, double down by blaming others for the consequences. Whether it's other nations, political opponents, or citizens with different views, they avoid all self-criticism. Scott explains this pattern of behavior by noting, malignant narcissists often act out destructively because they believe they are eradicating evil. The issue lies in their mistaken identification of where evil truly exists. Rather than confronting the darkness within themselves, they choose to attack what they perceive as evil in others. Life frequently threatens their flawless self-image. In response, they lash out and cause harm under the guise of pursuing justice, sacrificing others to preserve their perfect self-illusion, thereby creating a toxic, insular world for those they lead. Given the challenges society faces, it's easy to be quick to brand any politician we disagree with as a malignant narcissist. Yet in doing so, we risk misjudgment and may fall into the very scapegoating trap we condemn. Peck cautions us to reflect. Could I be committing evil myself by labeling those who oppose me? Am I oversimplifying the idea of evil and misusing it against anyone who disagrees with my perspective? To avoid this pitfall of projecting our own prejudices and unfairly targeting others, we must deepen our self-awareness of our own darker tendencies. The more conscious we become of our moral flaws and capacity for wrongdoing, the less likely we are to project those faults onto others. As Carl Jung insightfully stated, many projections can be reintegrated into the individual once he recognizes their subjective origin. By facing our inner shadows, we not only stop casting blame outward, but also sharpen our ability to discern the hidden evil behind the moral masks worn by malignant narcissists. Psychologist Marie-Louise von Franz expressed it well. When a person becomes aware of the evil inside themselves, they develop a sort of second sight, an ability to recognize those same traits in others. Exploring our own darkness often equips us with an intuitive skill to identify it externally. Armed with this awareness, we can help others move beyond their naivety about human nature. Malignant narcissists often maintain their power and sway, sometimes even enjoying popular support, because people struggle to accept that someone who appears so virtuous could be deeply corrupt. The problem is that evil frequently wears the disguise of goodness. Erich Fromm warned us, "The greatest misconception that prevents people from spotting potential tyrants early is the belief that truly destructive individuals must look like demons, bearing obvious marks that distinguish them from afar." While such figures do exist, they are rare. More often, destructive individuals hide behind a facade of virtue, speak of noble ideals, and profess good intentions. As long as people insist that evil must have horns, they remain blind to its true disguised forms. As more of us awaken to the destructive forces dividing and poisoning society, it's crucial that we guard against letting anger and hatred cloud our mission to be a force for good. Though malignant narcissists are easy targets of our rage, hatred only feeds their malevolence and plays into their strategies of manipulation and victimhood. Furthermore, hatred harms us by draining our energy and causing emotional fatigue. Instead of succumbing to hate, we should focus on spreading truth, a powerful weapon against evil, since deceit is its foundation. After all, Satan is called the father of lies. We must expose the hypocrisy of malignant narcissistic politicians, reveal their falsehoods, mock their inflated arrogance, and observe how the truth erodes their power, leaving them desperate, unstable, and eventually self-defeating. Pride precedes downfall. Or as M. Scott Peck puts it, evil hates the light of goodness that exposes them, the light of scrutiny that uncovers their deceit, the light of truth that pierces through their lies. Do you know what bothers me? Feeling lonely and not having anyone to talk to. So, if you like philosophy, I invite you to be part of the channel and be part of our community. We are always exploring new ideas, questioning concepts, and delving into issues that challenge the way we see the world. Every subscription makes a huge difference and helps keep these philosophical conversations alive.